All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here, of course, for psyco-pass. Psycho-pass. Episode 5. Season 1.
That's right.
And now we're getting into main plot stuff.
That's right.
The plot is kicking in. And we have a villain, an antagonistic person.
Yes, with white hair and many henchmen.
But we're excited to see where this goes, because we weren't getting bored of the cop drama, but we were a little impatient with it. We were like, come on, let's go. Move this along.
Get to the crazy stuff.
The virtual reality stuff got us really excited, though.
That did.
We're big fans of sci-fi in general, but there was a little bit of a holding back on a lot of the sci-fi elements, except for, of course, the Dominators.
Well,
in
because
the show. I mean, the Sybil system itself is kind of a sci-fi element, but they were kind of restrained, I think, a little bit to kind of rope people in.
Yeah, but now it seems like they're about to kick it into high gear.
Mm-hmm. All right, so you ready to go?
Yes.
All right, let's do this.
I just can't understand this Avatar stuff. What's the point of a virtual world? I mean, what's wrong with the real world? Why can't these people just go out and
The
talk
old
in
guy.
person?
Yeah.
Spoken like a true technophobe. You're part of an endangered species, Mr. Masaoka. Look at it this way. Using the net is no different than using a knife for cooking or a pen for writing. It's just another helpful tool for our lives. It's not good or bad. Simply enough, it's just there, so we accept it and use it.
Well put. I like how you explain things. You make a good teacher.
You really think so?
Are you familiar with Rousseau?
The philosopher?
That's right. Specifically,
It's a real
his
philosopher.
work, A Discourse on Inequality.
Oh, hold on a sec. I'll just look it up real fast.
There's no need for that. I've got the whole thing stored right up here. For instance, suppose there are two hunters in the woods.
Yeah.
They both want the same thing, so should they hunt separately for rabbits, or should they work together and go after bigger prey? Which decision strikes you as the better option?
Well, the latter, of course. That's basic game theory. It's always best to work together.
Precisely. Humans are social creatures by nature. Language, artwork, currency, telephones. Almost everything you can think of is a communication tool meant to strengthen that social nature, to help bring us together. Now, do you believe the net fulfills that purpose? That's the question.
Well, yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
Not 100% of the time, but...
I'd be happy to offer you some assistance. A PSP bureaucrat? And
To an extent.
me could come in handy. Ooh, that's kind of intriguing. I'd be happy to offer you some assistance. If sorry was enough, we wouldn't even need the police, would we? Seriously, I don't know what the hell I was thinking cooperating with the police.
There it is.
Yeah.
You have something?
I don't know what the hell I was thinking cooperating with the police.
Her choice of words is different. She says PSB at first, and then she says the police.
Couldn't that be a coincidence?
Yeah.
Maybe, but let's run a search through as many of her past lives as we can.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with trying to take someone's place like that. Mannerisms will be different.
Going by this, you could count all the times Spooky Boogie used the word police on one finger. You were speaking with a different person this morning. You were speaking with the murderer. That means
Boom.
he's now controlling two avatars that we know of.
Yeah.
According to the tracking, the Talisman Avatar is being operated from here. This apartment.
They would know, though, that they'd be able to figure that out so easily, though, right?
Door breach.
That's cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yep, there you go.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That
Early show character death, maybe?
No, I think wounded though.
It's always bound to be terrible news whenever I get a call from you.
Well, you might like this. Looks like some hunting dogs got caught in the trap.
That is good news. I can get you as many replacement proxy servers as you need me to, as long as you still plan on continuing.
Of course I do. It's my duty, after all.
Well, you are Mr. Makashima's favorite, but a word to the wise.
Oh.
Whatever you do, just make sure you don't screw up.
Those are some cool looking eye implants.
Yeah.
are you two not injured?
Jeez, we'll make sure to die next time.
Duck a little faster.
Rainy Blue is big too.
Dang.
It's a popular community.
Man, is anyone alive on the internet?
Is it even possible to simultaneously operate multiple avatars like that?
It's not too uncommon
That's a good
for an
question.
experienced heavy user, right?
The most remarkable aspect of this is the suspect's performance. 3 stolen avatars. Nobody suspects anything strange at all. In fact, he's made them more popular than they were in the first place.
Tens of thousands of users, and not one of them has noticed that he's a fake.
It's because it doesn't matter if he's fake or real. These avatars are idols to them. They're icons.
Yep.
Icons don't become icons of their own will. They're like projections.
Yep.
Neither Hayama nor Sugawara established their popular status on their own. Talisman and Spooky Boogie are just as much a creation of their fans' idolization, what their fans wanted them to be. The truth of a person behind the icon is rarely the same as the truth of the icon itself.
Yep. Truth is in the eye of the beholder.
It's not too surprising
That's
that
true.
a fan could do a better job than the actual user in delivering what the fans expect. They know
That's
what
a
they want.
great point.
So do you think this guy was originally a fan?
Melancholia, Talisman, and Spooky Boogie. He knows each one of these characters inside and out, and he can imitate them perfectly. This kind of behavior is clearly driven by the enthusiasm of a fan.
I see. We're pinpointing the suspect's own avatar.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Once the suspect managed to hijack the victim's avatar,
He doesn't need his own.
he no longer had any reason to visit their commune fields with his own avatar.
Yeah.
If anything, they
Genius.
If they wanted to make it perfect, they would have wanted to get a random person to still use the
There's
avatar.
only one person with those stats. Masatake Mido,
There you
27
go.
years old, works at a virtual sports management company.
He hasn't had a psycho-pass hue check since a routine scan 4 years ago.
Whoa.
We don't even have a record of a single street scanner picking him up.
He must have plotted out his daily routine around specific routes that avoided street scanners. A pretty good sign that he's got something to hide, huh?
Yeah, this music's good. No one's there.
MWPSB, Masatake Mido, we demand to see your psycho-pass at once. Come out with your hands up.
Oh.
Genius.
What's going on here?
All right.
Certainly got a talent for cracking interior holography as well.
Nice. That's cool. Wow. Huh?
He's got the whole hotel.
What do we do?
Yeah, that's why they brought it. Wow.
Oh, that's smart. That's very clever. And also just a little bit badass.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh. Holy crap. Oh, he's not making it out of this.
Limiting drug.
No,
He's
if
not gonna go far with that wound. We'll let Gino
die of blood loss pretty soon. Although, you know, it would have been better for him to just tase him and then kill him.
Welcome home, Mido. We're glad you're back.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
That's creepy.
I made it.
Yeah.
I'm okay now that I'm home. You're all eternal, freed from physicality, released from the chains of your users, and substantiated by collective intelligence.
Wait.
You're the embodiment of Plato's theory of forms.
What?
I look down on you. You stand above all life, and I swear I won't let anyone tarnish your nobility.
I think he's speaking theoretically. There's...
I'll protect you no matter what the cost might be. Thank you, Mido. Thank you, Mido. Thank you very much, Mido.
Whoa.
There was a time when each of you provided me with guidance.
But now, with the 3 of you by my side, I'll provide guidance. I'll guide the entire world. You're all eternal.
Oh.
That's nice and all. But don't you think you could have tried a little harder, Mido? Maybe done a better job?
How is this happening?
No.
How are you?
There's something that I'm searching for, something I'm quite eager to know, and I did whatever it took to succeed at this task.
I'm curious. Have you read any Shuji Teriyama?
What? Teriyama?
You should check him out. Read his play, Saraba Eiga Yo. All of the characters are agents for somebody else, and all of the agents communicate through avatars. It's layers upon layers upon layers.
Are you... Makashima?
You have an impressive knowledge of various avatars and imitate them perfectly. You can become anyone, which made me curious about who you actually are. Does such a chameleon have a personality? Once I asked, I had to know. That's why I helped you.
Stop! Stop it!
Wow.
Stop speaking in their voices!
Sorry.
But they're just holograms.
No more ideas left for you to borrow.
It's just gonna crack him, though.
To come up with your own original way to die, if you can even do that.
You bastard! Why are you...
You can betray any character you desire, just slip right into their being. But it turns out that you yourself are nobody. Your personality is a complete and total blank. It's empty. You don't even have a face of your own. And that's how you were able to do it. You simply slid any mask you could find over that blank void.
Shut up! Stop it!
It's time to say goodbye, Masatake Honda.
Holy crap!
And they've come bearing death.
This is trippy as all crap. Like, and of course they're gonna kill him. They're not gonna try and take him alive for questioning or anything.
All clear.
He's the only one here, right? Looks like it.
Well, then who the hell was he screaming at?
Jeez. I mean, he was gonna go crazy anyway,
But also the fact that they were able to use the holograms through the holographic stuff in the rooms. So
they were hooked up to some kind of intelligence on the computer.
yeah.
I can't really take any credit. Mr. Kogami figured it all out. It's incredible how he was able to get inside Mito's head and predict his actions.
That's just how enforcers are. They can do that because they've got the same psychological profile as the criminals.
But Mr. Kogami comforted me after Shoko's death, and he encouraged me. I know he's classified as a latent criminal, but I have trouble believing he has the same mind as a maniac like Mito. I just don't see it.
Fulfilling your duties as an inspector is the only thing you should think about. Draw a hard line between you and the enforcers.
Is that an
Sure.
ironclad rule for this
That'll make
job
them work
protocol?
better together.
No. But it's the rule I live by.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have a partner, but I lost him due to a mistake he made.
Yep.
A
Yep.
mistake I couldn't stop.
Told ya.
And I don't want to see the same thing happen to you.
Kogami's file.
That's from the personnel department. Delete it when you're done with it.
Yep.
Oh.
Yep.
Mhm.
Kogami, enforcer, male, 28 years old, former inspector.
Yep.
What?
While investigating the previously unsolved MWPSB Special Case 102, Enforcer Kogami's crime coefficient rapidly increased. Despite repeated warnings, he prioritized the investigation over treatment. His crime coefficient deviated from the regulated value, and he was demoted to enforcer.
Well, that was a psychological episode.
That was
Holy
a fantastic
crap.
episode.
Okay, so I really liked how they handled the episodic kind of person of the week that they have to hunt down and apply their dominators to. But oh my gosh.
This one of the things that I loved about this episode is that, so in a sci-fi story, you set up the sci-fi elements, right?
Right.
But it doesn't, it's pretty rare for a story, especially this early on, to take the sci-fi elements and have them work in combination with each other.
Yeah,
like they did with the virtual reality, the holograms in the room, and I think that might have been it. But
it's basically it. I mean, they brought the alcohol preemptively because they were worried about a hacker being able to utilize the holograms.
Right.
to create basically illusions within that area, which is genius from the standpoint of what kind of use they could use use they could have for that technology in a criminal sense. But also think about it as, we've already been seeing the holograms being used out in the real world with those creepy
with the robots,
little clown suits over the robots.
But the idea that you could remotely just send a hologram anywhere, that is freaky.
Well, no, it's not anywhere. There has to be some kind of machinery attached to it that's projecting it out.
Yes, but the idea that you could hack remotely machinery that can create holograms to then just...
Yeah, there's got to be some limitation to the technology machinery itself. But yes, it's pretty impressive. Also, we're getting a sense as to what kind of antagonist organization this is. It's basically a hacker group. To some extent, this is, just off of our impressions thus far. It's a hacker group that's utilizing technology to kind of maneuver their way around not only the Sybil system, but around the current infrastructure of society in order to do blank, whatever that is. Something.
I love that they didn't tell us what that something is, and that instead they showed a bit more of sort of how they were doing it. But then also the bit of the personality of the main bad guy.
Yes, so there's a philosophical edge to this show that I'm really starting to dig. I'm really getting excited here. They brought up Plato's law of forms, which basically is the non-substantial or non-corporeal aspects of reality are the most accurate representations of reality. And that's interesting because this whole show is dealing with the whole thing of truth, but not really truth from the standpoint of something subjective, but like empirical what's right and what's wrong with regards to morality for the Sybil system. But Jacob, how do you see this kind of parallel of him declaring the avatars being these true beings, the most real thing out there, to a Sybil system that puts an arbitrary number to determine the real state of someone's mind? I'm really seeing some twisted comparisons there.
I like how they're related, because that will make the villains and all the twisted stuff that he does seem a lot more applicable to the good guys, or just the our main characters, our protagonists, because they're working in a system that follows a lot of the same concepts and rules. And
it's really good. It's really good because there's so many ways they can take this this kind of philosophy theme. And the thing that kind of struck me was Makashima, the antagonist. He was experimenting with this guy.
Yes.
Because he wanted to see what a true chameleon would look like, and he seemed to be disappointed.
Right.
He had that enhanced cybernetic guy with the eye implants and stuff, who seemed to be kind of a I don't know, kind of a...
I'm not sure.
Yeah, some kind of a lieutenant, so to speak.
Okay, yeah.
But he had the very first thing he said was something of jealousy as to why Mito, the hacker, was Makashima's current favorite at the time.
Yes.
And I just think that kind of human element they can put into a sci-fi the minute you introduce a character is good. Because I looked at the character and was like, oh, it's cool. He's got little eye implants and stuff. But the very first thing he said when interacting with Mito was, I don't know why Makashima is so interested in you. It's like, oh, cool, jealousy, a very human trait for a very inhuman-looking, person.
Because a lot of the times, so in stories, this happens for the main character as well, where they'll be just without emotion, but it's even worse usually for the villains.
Oh,
where they'll just be these forces of evil that are completely pointless, right?
The puppy kickers.
Yeah, exactly. And with the henchmen, it'll usually be even worse because
they're extensions of the villain.
Yeah, they're just extensions of the villain, so they're just something that's more watered down.
Right.
But for all of them, they introduced some kind of human element to them, so you got a good grasp for their personality, even though we haven't seen much of them.
Yeah, they're giving very little screen time to them, but they're making use of that screen time very effectively. There were also a couple transitions in this episode that were very thematic and well shot, so to speak. Well shot. I know this is an anime and there's no camera, but whoever's the director on this show, they really did some cool things in this episode. I can't call out specifics, but I'd have to go back and rewatch the episode and go, that part, and that part, and that part. But I didn't write anything much in my notes here. They're mostly there so I can remember the names and stuff. But we totally called Kogami being
ex-inspector, friend of the...
friend of
Ginoza.
Ginoza. Inspector Ginoza. The names, it's hard to remember some of them. But I was also expecting Masayoka to be his old partner. That they're both ex-inspectors, and Kogami and him,
Okay.
But I think they're saving Masayoka's backstory before he dies.
Yeah, I was just gonna say,
which is actually it's actually kind of interesting. By them not showing that here, I think we can say that Masayoka's safe for at least an episode or two.
Sure. Once we start seeing his backstory, then we know. Well, he's dead.
So Kogami is first in priority because he's the next main character other than
Akane.
Akane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, do you feel like they're shifting a little bit too much focused away from Akane? Like, she's still kind of a little bit
No, I don't think so.
Right now,
I don't think so because
because
they gave her enough time to establish her in the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, by showing all the other characters and all the other stuff happening in the world,
right,
they're saying, all right, we're going to take this established main character and now showing how they react to all this stuff that's unfamiliar to them in the same way that the audience is reacting to it.
It's good storytelling. It's a thing where I'm hoping that they'll move a little bit faster because we're a little bit experienced in that kind of convention.
Yes.
It's a bit conventional,
but they're doing it well.
But they're doing it well. I think one of the things that psycho-pass should be praised for is executing things strongly.
Yes, and creatively.
Creatively. I think the concepts, though, hint at depth beyond just the show, where I could just go and talk about psycho-pass for hours. But until they start really talking about things, like they only brought up Plato's law of forms, which is funny because it's not really a law. It's more of just like a...
Well,
it's kind of a theory.
Whatever it is, it'll turn into something pretty crazy with all this virtual reality
it
stuff
seems
going
like
around.
foreshadowing, true. Yeah. I'm really wondering how that relates to the Sybil system, because I'm seeing a massive, massive connection there. I just don't see the end result as to why they're drawing the connection. So, as a writer, you want to start foreshadowing themes before you start foreshadowing actual plot points.
Right. You want the very first stuff to be setting the theme and the tone for the story.
Right, but they did it primarily with this one about the Sybil system. Right. And then they set the themes of the characters, and now they're keeping a consistent kind of going through the characters. But with Makashima being brought into the mix, they seem to be introducing this whole philosophical edge and critique of society in general.
Yes.
So, to an extent, I feel like Makashima's thing that they're hinting at with that whole forms thing is Makashima sees the society that exists right now as fake, and he is seeking something truer, a more perfect expression.
Sure.
And whatever his goal and or modus operandi to achieve that goal is related to that theme.
Right. And if so, that gets me really excited, because when you have a villain that is going after something that, at least at its core, is admirable.
Like idealistic.
Yeah, idealistic. Yeah. And not idealistic like in the awful megalomaniac sense, but like someone who has something that they're going after that normally, like at the base level, sounds like a pretty good thing to go after. Yeah. But then, of course,
there's the way they do it.
There's the way they do it. There's the specifics and all that stuff that just is whoa, okay,
right. But it's good stuff like this that lets us know that at some point they're going to try and probably succeed in getting us to root for Makashima in some extent.
Which
And that's good.
Yeah.
That's good. As you can tell, I'm wearing an Amon shirt. And I specifically chose this shirt because I'm sensing
that
just a little bit some similarities. There's that character that isn't like, I mean, I'm not going to spoil anything about Amon, but someone who has a goal, and it's a lofty goal, and needs an organization in order to make that goal achievable. But the goal it's almost perfect. And I think that's something that I can sense from Makashima. I'm sensing this, I am too perfect for this world, you know, the prosody.
Yeah, this world is imperfect.
Yes, exactly. And the way he's going to go about doing it requires him to interact with other people that I think are going to dirty his dreams. So
now, okay, can I just point out something?
Go.
So, as far as showing emotion for villains, right? We got one in this that really doesn't usually happen for villains, and they did it right off the bat, and in a great way to parallel with the main character, Akane, and that's curiosity. When do you actually see a villain that's just genuinely curious? That doesn't happen very often, because it's usually associated with more like childlike wonder and stuff like that, you know? Right. So the fact that they're doing that for the villain?
Yeah, curiosity has this connotation to innocence that is just complete, utter crap generally in storytelling. You don't need to be innocent to be curious.
Right.
You just need to have a desire to learn. And I think too often in villains, they're like, I have already learned all I need to know.
Yes, I have all the answers.
The arrogance of my personality is astounding, you know?
Yeah.
But if you have someone that's willing to expand their mind constantly, it's not for some sake of power.
Right.
It's actually because they know that they don't know everything.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm thinking the philosophy of this whole thing is going, is the Sybil system is basically society saying we found the perfect solution.
Right.
And one of the beginning things you have to come to the realization of with regards to wisdom is that you know nothing.
Right.
And society has basically said, we know everything.
And he's
so
like,
here's
are you
the Sybil
sure?
system. And he's like, are you sure about that? You know, kind of John Cena, like, are you sure about that? So I'm getting really hyped for future episodes of this show.
So, but Masayoka, like...
Masayoka was a badass this episode.
Well, yes, he totally
grabbed
was.
the alcohol, drank it, he was doing the circus performance thing, spitting fire.
Yes.
But that was great.
But when I was watching that, I was just thinking, like, this seems like another subtle way, like the art, to build him up to be more awesome, so that way when he dies...
Are you talking about their talk about equality?
Yeah, that too.
Rousseau stuff?
Yeah.
That was interesting. So... before we end this, just talk about the social collaborative efforts of people and how that mirrors the protagonist and the antagonist. We had a very clear picture of collaboration where Kogami kind of stepped a little bit out of bounds, not out of bounds, but he basically, used his enforcer kind of mindset to kind of steer the group's direction. And Ginoza in this instance wasn't as... I would say irritated by it. Basically was like, hey,
right, because that's what they needed.
That's what they need.
That's sort of Kogami's job.
And Kogami's skills allowed them to find things to go there, and there was great collaborative efforts in that regard. And so they succeeded.
And the same thing happened.
And the same thing happened with the antagonists. But in that regard, they had a point where that collaborative effort basically would have brought down the group as a whole, so they cut the tie.
Yeah.
And that's that...
Which is another...
That's that social aspect of when you're in the hunting party as the group, but then the prey gets too difficult to handle. Does one hunter shoot the other to save themselves?
Well, and...
Or maybe, just shoot them in the leg?
Now, did that at all make you think of, at the very beginning, when... Because the whole idea of collaboration and all that stuff, right? But then cutting the slack... That's, again, another parallel with the Sybil system.
Yep.
When that lady got attacked... She was determined to be sort of dead weight, right? So...
It's interesting because the villains are then perpetuating that aspect of the Sybil system within their own organization because they can't afford to have it.
Right.
Because of their goal needing to be reached, which makes them... the slightest bit hypocritical, but it still still gets excused because they have some goal that must be attained. You know?
And it's something that the protagonists can't really call them out on without looking at themselves and being like,
So that'll be kind of good. I'm sure there's going to be a great, not a monologue, but there's going to be a point in this show at some point where Makashima and some of the protagonists, they're just going to talk to each other.
It's going to be forward to that.
Glorious.
I almost don't even want the focus to be on the action and like trying to stop each other.
No.
I just want them to like almost have like those Magneto and Xavier.
They could do it through the avatars.
Yes.
That's how they'll do it.
Oh my gosh. That would be amazing.
It'll be
we could
perfect.
have them like be getting to know each other and stuff and all this stuff without ever having met each other. And they're trying to stop each other, but they still, they still talk.
That's another
over
great
breakfast
point.
in the morning or
Makashima
whatever.
could become friends with them and help them out, with his avatar, so to speak. Like, there could be there's some clever things they could do.
That would be cool.
Are you sensing also? I mean, even though we have the beginning scene with Makashima and Kogami kind of being the fated battle between men.
Yeah.
But do you sense they've dealt with each other before?
Oh, yeah.
Like, while that was the
absolutely.
first scene, it's thematically also saying that they have a little bit of a past.
Well, it's
thing.
again, it's the Spike Spiegel and Vicious parallel.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
So my call is that Makashima is, at least connected to why Kogami was, turned into an enforcer. He was going after Makashima in some way when he got turned into an enforcer. Maybe
And that's Makashima's backstory to an extent right there.
Yeah, and this is cool. So they could give them a backstory without giving them a backstory because Kogami's whole thing is getting into the mind of the person on the other end. So in a way, they already know each other.
I like it. Oh my gosh, guys, we're really excited for this. This has been so much fun, and we could discuss for a while, but we're going to cut this one off right here because we're just going too long. All right, guys, this has been awesome. That was psycho-pass. Until next time, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.